Now that you know the order of flats and sharps, we are ready to move on to step 2 of the key signature unit. In this step, we will be learning a couple new terms and how to use them to find out a little bit more about each scale or key signature. The terms we're going to learn in this video both come from a thing called solfege. Solfege are a set of syllables used mostly in chorus, but also other places in music, that represent the notes of a scale. Not particular pitches, but syllables that we use so that we can talk about general notes of every scale rather than any one specific scale. Solfege syllables are pretty common and most people know them whether or not they realize it. The syllables for a major scale in solfege are do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. In addition to solfege syllables, sometimes we also use numbers to talk about notes of a scale. We call these scale degrees, and we number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we put a little caret over the top of each number so we know that we're not talking about measure numbers or rhythms or anything else. So the first solfege syllable we're going to talk about is do. Do is the easiest one to figure out and also the most important one to figure out. Do is the first note of any scale. It's also the most important note of any scale. Do is such an important part of any key signature or scale that they actually name the key signature or scale after do, which makes it really super easy to figure out. If a key signature or scale was a solar system, you could think of do like the sun. Everything else revolves around do, and do actually has some musical gravity that pulls all the other notes towards it. It makes our ears want to hear do in a piece of music. That's how powerful and important do is to any key signature or scale. It's also important to note that another word for do that lots of musicians and teachers will use sometimes is tonic. Tonic is the same thing as do, and it's the same thing as the first note of the scale or key signature. All right, so if we write out the B flat major scale, the first note of that scale, B flat, is going to be do. If we were to write out the F major scale, the first note of that scale is going to be do. So in that case, it would be F. It really is that easy for do. The second solfege syllable we're going to talk about is Ti. And Ti ends up being the seventh solfege syllable in a major scale. It comes right before do. It's the second to last note of any major scale. And so for that reason, we can also call it the seventh scale degree. When you hear Ti sung or played in a major scale, it has a really strong pull towards do. It leads to do. So the other term for it is leading tone. All right, so now that we know what do or tonic is, and we also know what Ti or the leading tone is, we need to be able to find those in any given scale or key signature. And here's how you do it. It's pretty easy. To do this, we're going to use what's called the musical alphabet. And all the musical alphabet is the letters that we steal from the regular alphabet and use in music. So we use A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And after G, we just repeat it A, and it cycles over and over and over again. So if we're in the key of C, we know that do is going to be C. And since we know that Ti is the seventh scale degree, we can count up from C to the seventh scale degree. D, E, F, G, A, B. That's what Ti is. Or we can start at C and just go downward one. Whatever's easier for you. If we're trying to find what the tonic of the F major scale would be, it would be F. And the leading tone would then be E, whether that means we count up to the seventh scale degree or just jump backwards one.